I've known Steve for like 20 years. What most of you space with some of this science from a corporate perspective for a number of years, and many of you were aware of that. You worked with Steve. You've got a lot of connective relationships with Ace Menon and that whole technology, which is really exciting. What's more exciting, if you're here as a guest or a new rep, is that because our company is really built on leg, the person who brought us, who gave us the licensing for this technology, because of really what we had in place. You need to wrap your head around that. I'll come back to that at the end. But Steve is probably one of the very best people to literally talk to you about this opportunity, really what we're doing with VeraCell, how it connects into our model, but more importantly, establish why in the world would anybody want to choose to build a business in this space, and what does that mean for us all? Because there's so many winds that are blowing in our sales. Like I was on a call this morning, gang, and I told this person who's looking at our opportunity, I said, I think this is the golden age, one of the greatest times in my lifetime to be an entrepreneur in the peer-to-peer commerce industry. And so I would encourage you, take notes. We didn't like rehearse any of this, but we wanted to do an overview tonight so you can see how VeraCell fits into the picture. And then at some point, Steve's going to bring in Dr. Dan Fouts. He'll tell you about his background and resume. We'll talk about this, and then we've got some strategizing and game planning, and then corporate has got a Zoom that I'm going to conduct with Justin and Tom Saturday morning, just to make sure there's absolutely zero confusion on this. So I've got some miscellaneous announcements after the biz op part of this. So enjoy this. Take notes if you're not driving. Like, listen, Steve brings a very, it's interesting. I'll end with this, and then we'll bring him in here. His brain is a unicorn. He is a consultant, so he brings a perspective of the product world, but combines that into the franchising space, because that's his brain. He's actually a certified franchise developer. I didn't even know you had to have a certification for that. But this is a franchise-like business. So he's got a massive organization. Like, he's got business in every country we're in. So without further ado, from Dallas, Texas, Steve Chelette.
Well, thank you, Jim. Thank you, Rod, and welcome everybody. I appreciate you being here. I'm really excited. It's been a long journey to get to this point, almost 3 years. So I'm going to jump right in. We want to keep things moving along. We want to get you in and out of here fairly quickly. And, we're going to just cover a few bases here. One of the things we're going to do is we're going to really having conversations about it, especially in this type of setting. And that is, the reality is, whether it's in the workforce, whether it's in the economy, whether it's in health and well-being, something isn't working, right? We talk to thousands and thousands of people, all of us do. And what we really recognize is that I talk to people all the time, and they tell me how overwhelmed they feel. They used to say how busy they were, but since 2020, it's really been, Steve, I just feel overwhelmed. I'm exhausted all the time. And that's despite having more supplements, more information, more healthcare options. So you got to look at that and say, something isn't adding up. Something isn't working, right? And it's really because our system, our overall system, whether that's the nervous system, the other systems that everything's connected to within the body, I like to say it's more because of that overload. It's like congestion. It's like when you get sinus congestion or congestion in your chest and in your lungs, where the whole nervous system is congested. The whole nervous system is disrupted, and that feeds into your muscles and your tissues and your organs and the way your body and hormones regulate. It really becomes just disruption. And what I want you to understand is that your immune system is not weak, it's confused, it is congested. And so when that signaling becomes chaotic and your energy drops and your recovery slows down, you feel kind of weakened and fatigued and all that, it's not because your body is broken. It's because over the years, all of these things start piling on, and that's really where your body loses its harmony and its regulatory process. here in the United States, and I realize we got people from all over the world here tonight, but here in the United States alone was just one example of 8 in 10 adults have at least one chronic disease. We spend over $10 trillion a year on healthcare, really sick care here in the United States. And when you think about it, who wants to be a customer of that, right? Nobody. But 8 in 10 adults have one or more have a chronic disease. 5 in 10, 50% of adults in this country have 2 or more chronic diseases. That's insane. That means something's not working, and it's the leading cause of death and disability to the tune of over $4 trillion, right? So that's why you see real problems coming to the surface. That's why you see here in the States a Make America Healthy Again movement, where you've got the entire country talking about what does that actually even mean? Why are we going down this road? Well, it's because the medical complex is actually built around sick care. I've just had several friends in and out of the hospital just the last few weeks. Nobody wants to be there. Nobody wants to keep going to these doctor's appointments to have all of these things. And in fact, nowadays, 40 to 50% of people are asking their doctors for more integrative support in their wellness. It's like, I'd like to move away from the drug care system and into the well care system. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, doctors aren't trained to they're trained to practice medicine. They're not trained in nutrition, in wellness. Some of them do that extra, but that's not part of the normal curriculum that trains up our doctors and our nurses. And so we're forced as consumers and as individuals to go outside of that system to find other scientific solutions that can then benefit and get us back on track, because that's where the future of wellness is. It is restoring harmony within the human system. You see, your immune system does not need more force. It needs clearer communication. It needs that congestion to dissipate so that you can step in. And what people are telling us with the results that we're going to share with you this evening is that when the balance returns, your life starts to change. You report better energy and more resilience and improved mental clarity. No more brain fog, right? And renewed confidence. You start getting your swagger back. And so what I want to unpack for you, and what I'm going to bring Dr. Dan in here for a minute, is we're only going to talk about a couple of the solutions that MPG Marketplace Global has to offer, because that's all we really have time for. But I want you to know we're taking a systems-based approach. Our solutions support cellular messaging and recognition, your metabolic balance, your immune optimization, which is very important. You have to optimize, not overstimulate, not underregulate, optimize, bring it into harmony. And we're helping the body function as it was designed. See, the body's actually the hero. We just give it the support it needs to operate in its best thing. So why does this moment matter? Well, I'm going to show you here. Wellness demand is exploding. Trust in traditional systems is declining. We hear it every day. Remote income, because your income does impact your health. If you don't have the money, you're not buying the right food, you're not consuming the right products. The stress of finances does impact your health, and so we want to talk about that. We also are going to talk about AI disrupting workforce, and if it's disrupting workforce and displacing workforce, that's not only disrupting income, that's disrupting healthcare. Think about that. If you lose your job to AI, you're not just losing income, you potentially are losing your healthcare for a period of time as well. So you're going to have to be proactive about that, and we need to be talking about that. And so we're shifting toward community-driven, peer-to-peer wellness and decentralization so that you can get outside of that system, that sick care system, and into the wellness system. And if you feel like, well, I'm hearing this for the first time, how do I know this is real? It's multiple trillions dollar real. Right now, in 2025, it was over a $7 trillion global health and wellness space. And it breaks down to all these different categories. But the timing of this couldn't be better. Everybody's starting to wake up to, I have to take ownership of my health and my wellness. And the timing of this, we look at this, it says the forecast is 9 trillion by the end of 2028. And here in North America alone, that's over a $300 billion market. And we have solutions that service that market. So what you're going to hear now is a story of convergence. I'm only going to go into a couple of the things that we have here. And both of them came from a pharmaceutical company in the origins, two different pharmaceutical companies, but because they were coming from plant-based solutions, they were non-toxic at any level. And because when you don't kill mice in your process, you don't qualify as a drug. Therefore, you have to go down the supplement path there, or what some people call the nutraceutical or botanical path. And so that's what happened here. And so a couple years ago, actually almost 2 years ago to the day, we were approached with by an organization who had an extract from a hops plant out of New Zealand. I know we got several New Zealand people on here today, and that hops plant comes out of New Zealand. It's pristine. It's a very specific plant. And what does it do? Well, when you get that extract and you put it in your drink and you put it in your body, it activates the vagus nerve, which is the largest nerve running from the brain all the way down your spine, hooked into over 1,100 processes in your body. And it helps with rest and digest. It helps regulate your hormone balance. There's a lot of things. Think about it like a circuit breaker in your house, right? And it turns on all the lights, all the appliances, all the fixtures, everything in your house. That's what the vagus nerve does for your body. And it's got 600 connection points to your digestive system alone. Well, that's the key and the origin point, the central point of your immune system. Everything your body does to help regulate itself, protect itself, repair itself, and renew itself. That's where this starts. So think about this. We have a product that comes down that internet superhighway of your body and helps modulate and balance all of that out. If you want to know more deep dive, we have plenty of information. And in fact, everything I'm talking about, we have videos, we have documents, we have clinical stuff, we have all kinds of things. I'm not here to give that lesson today. I'm just here to give you some high level orientation. But movement number 2, and that's what we're here really to talk about tonight, is VeraCell, which is powered by Ace Mannin. And if you haven't heard about Ace Mannin, I'm going to give you a little history here right now. Ace Mannin has been discovered in a pharmaceutical company here in Dallas, Texas, over 40 years ago in the mid 80s. But it had to go through several generations and several iterations. But what is at its root, what does it do? Ace Mannin has been shown to be effective for the treatment of any condition that requires an immune intervention for its resolution. That's a mouthful. Let me break it down. If you got something going on in your body, this helps the immune system recognize it, start to defend, start to repair, start to renew. It's that simple. If your immune system's upregulated and modulated, not boosted, not depressed, modulated and optimized, guess what? It recognizes what's going on within the body. And when you support it, the body does what it was designed to do. And that's what's at the core of Ace Mannin. That started in the 80s, progressed into the 90s. Many of us got exposed to the earlier generations of it then. But then in 2014, this is the leading specialist on all things aloe and all things Ace Mannin. Dr. Santiago Rodriguez, who was part of the original formulation and the original processes, has continued down this path. He's world-renowned, recognized as the leading expert on Ace Mannin technologies. And he started a path back in 2014 on his own to start advancing this technology. Why? Because he discovered a study back in 2005 that identified, wow, if I tweak and tune this a little bit, I can get even a greater response than what we did in generation 1 and generation 2. And he called it kind of the sweet spot, which is kind of interesting for polysaccharides, but he called it a sweet spot so that we can dial in and say, this is the narrow thing here that really does the most impact on that immune modulation. And if you look at the history of it, going from generation 1 to generation 2 to, and in fact, generation 3, you can see, oh, wait a minute, there's this thing called total Ace Mannin, and then there's this thing that's the immune optimizing fractions. So let's be clear about that. There's this total Ace Mannin, and then there's the immune modulating fractions. And so at the earlier phase, we had a little bit more of that immune modulation. And then it kind of got changed around a little bit. We still had plenty of Ace Mannin, but that got changed around as far as what was doing the immune optimizing. And then what Rodriguez went and did is said, wait a minute, based on this study, I can really ramp up that immune optimizing part of it. And that's what he did. And that's what he brought to market. And that's what we're talking about right now. But there's even more that goes on beyond that. And so what he did, being a legacy thinker and being connected to an organization called Manna Relief, which is a nonprofit organization that takes this technology to tens of thousands of children around the world in over 90 countries that are malnourished or medically fragile, he decided to work with Manna Relief and bring this latest generation of technology to Manna Relief to get distribution to all of these kids and all of these countries and help these kids in these communities and these countries and everything that's taking place. And so he agreed to provide his best version, the thing that ratchets up and gets the most bang for the buck, to those of us who are participating in the buy one, give one program, partners, so that when you buy this product, it's supporting these kids through Manna Relief. And that's how we got to this place, because we partnered with Manna Relief because he donated that technology to them. And we said, we want to do something here at Marketplace Global that we get the benefit of the highest grade, technology available. And we want to build it even into a blend that we're going to talk about here with Dr. Dan in just a moment. So Dan, get ready. I'm coming to you here in just a minute. But we wanted to do something here that said, okay, we want to benefit as many people out there in that multi-trillion-dollar wellness space as we possibly can, but we also want to help those kids through Manna Relief. So when you buy a bag of VeraCell, you're getting your 30-day supply, but one of those kids is getting their 30-day supply of glyconutrition that's going to help their immune system, is going to help their malnutrition, take them from malnutrition and medically fragile to healthy, thriving children. Now, who doesn't want to be a part of that, right? So I'm going to take it just a little bit step further. As I said, every bag of VeraCell sold is also being taken care of a child for 30 days. And that's a very important thing to be a part of. But right now, I want to break down even and unpack more about the detail of VeraCell. So Dr. Dan, you want to come in here with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There you go.
Okay.
So Dr. Dan, let me bring Dr. Dan, or introduce you guys to Dr. Dan. So Dr. Dan has been a part of the glyconutrient story for over 30 years. He's been a chiropractor, he's been a trainer, and in fact, he did continuing medical education credit training on this in over 13 countries, over 300 cities, to thousands of doctors, MDs, practitioners of all kinds, functional health. He went around the world training people and training medical and healthcare practitioners on what this technology represents. He was working with the first generation, the second generation technology as well. And so when we finally got to the place of partnership and we were looking at what do we want to actually formulate, we kind of went to the whiteboard and said, okay, here's what we've known from the history. Now here's where we are. How would we want to put this together to really have something extremely impactful using the latest generation and iteration of the ACE Mannan as the kind of the anchor point? But how can we make that even better? How can we make that more effective? And Dr. Dan, and along with several other people that we brought in, Dr. Bowers, several other people who had decades of experience in this space, made major contributions to the thinking and the formulation that went into VeraCell, which came down to these 5 polysaccharides. So Dr. Dan, walk us through this a little bit. Give us the profile and why you're so excited after all these years and all this experience and all these people that you've trained over the years. Why are you excited about VeraCell?
Wow, thank you for the opportunity. 1995 was when I was first introduced to this technology, way back when. And I saw it do literally miraculous things in the rooms. I mean, as a chiropractor, I didn't treat a whole lot of the diseases, so to speak, but saw them improving simply because we were giving them the ACE Mannan. Now what we're looking at after all these years and a whole lot of more study in biochemistry in between then and now, we understand so much more of how all of these things work together. We know that to turn on these different components, there's signaling that's going on through very specific pathways, a whole array of different things, very, very technical. But the good thing that is simple is you open your mouth and swallow, and these things are going to happen. The ACE Mannan the fucoidan, and acetylglucosamine, arabinogalactin, gum acacia. All 5 of those are put together in such a manner that we can do amazing things now with the human body and with those being available. A major deal is simply that as we bring them on board, they're actually helping to activate even more workload, you might say, with the other ones. And each one, as it's going through doing its thing, now we're getting a much stronger, a faster turnaround time, so to speak. It is amazing how many different things that it is just capable of doing. So as we look at this thing, one of the deals is I can go over literally hundreds of studies, but I was on the phone this afternoon, to the United Kingdom, and as usual, had a lady on there with a husband who had a certain type of problem, and supposedly, when I've looked it up, there wasn't much that could be done for that problem with ACE man or fucoid and all the other ones. Bottom line was, yeah, they couldn't, they said they didn't have enough testing to do it. That lady's husband, in just a few days, literally dramatic turnaround as soon as we got them on the VeraCell. It has so many positive things going for it that it is just mind-boggling. So net result, when in doubt, open mouth and swallow. We have an incredible opportunity here with this combination. You're going to hear more and more and more about it because I've already looked up a whole bunch of stuff. Back to
Yeah,
you.
and so Dan, when you look at that, and you know, people say, well, what have you done to test VeraCell? Well, all of the ingredients have been tested for years and years and years, right? We
Yeah,
know what we didn't just randomly throw things in a hat and pull it out and say, oh, okay, that's going to make this product. No, there was a lot of intention, a lot of specific understanding of, wait a minute, if we put together this ensemble in a certain way, then we're going to get faster, better response rates. And again, the body's the hero, right? It's not that this doesn't treat, cure, mitigate anything. It gives the body the support to do what the body was designed. Is that not correct?
Absolutely. The major thing that is happening with these 5 ingredients is they are sending signals up to the immune system, as well as other components, and very specifically saying, okay, do your job, work and find the bad stuff that you're supposed to be looking for. That's great.
Okay. Okay. So then when we combine these two things, one that really kind of carries the signaling pathway in the vagus nerve, everything I was just talking about. So when we combine these two products and these two technologies, this is what people are telling us. Is that, I mean, can you see my screen there?
Yes. And
Okay.
I can definitely say I've, number one, looked up all of these things. And not only are the people saying, hey, it's working, it's starting to show up in the medical literature now that is working the way they're talking about.
Well, it is, and we're getting tremendous testimonials and stories, and we're going to start. I mean, we are releasing some of that, but we're coming to this point now where, you know, we've had VeraCell in a pilot group. Then we kind of expanded it a little bit. We just had an event where the people who were at the event, we opened it up a bit more. But now, coming tomorrow on April 17th, we're going to start rolling it out, US, Canada, and we're going to get into that a little bit more here in just a minute. But yes, folks, this is what's happening. I mean, it seems simple, but if it's you and you're having sleep problems, better sleep matters. You know, improved recovery, even athletes. We have studies on, and we've had Olympians and other people on this type of technology in the earlier generations, where you know, their recovery and athletic performance, all of those things. So it's not just if you're not feeling good. This is actually get healthy, stay healthy, optimize your health and wellness and fitness, and let this continue to be part of your daily activity, your daily routine to get healthy, stay healthy, and then that's where your body begins to regulate itself the way it's supposed to. Dr. Dan, appreciate you coming on here. We're going to keep rolling, but you're going to hear a lot more from Dr. Dan. He has gone deep dive on every single thing that we have in the VeraCell and in the pHix and other things. You guys, you just wait. Dr. Dan is a tremendous resource, and you're going to be hearing a lot more from him as we move forward and continue to grow and reach more people. So thank you again, Dr. Dan. So now I'm going to shift a little bit, because what I want you to understand is that when people restore their harmony and their health, and they naturally turn around and say, okay, this is what it did for me. I found a way to get healthier. So this is why we aren't just a product company. We are a movement company. We are shifting things in the marketplace. And so we are a platform. We are a movement of people helping people reconnect with better health, your stronger families. Because when you're healthy and you can have more vibrancy within your family, hey, things get better in the household, things get better in the marriage. When you can have financial freedom and not have financial stress, guess what? That makes for a healthier environment and a healthier self as well. So this is where this gets bigger than just health. People really want solutions. People really want some income stability, and they want purpose. And very rarely do all three come together in one place, but that's what's been happening here. But now I got to drop the other shoe on you, and this is the one that makes people clench up a little bit. There's another pandemic on the horizon, but it's a digital pandemic. It's not something coming after your respiratory. It's coming after income. It's coming after livelihoods. And that is the AI workforce displacement. And you're probably hearing a lot about it. It's all over the internet. It's all over social media. There's studies out there that are pretty compelling and pretty accurate. I mean, I'm looking at one just like what I have on the screen right now. 300 million jobs could be eliminated or downgraded by AI workforce displacement. And that's just in North America and Europe. That doesn't include the rest of the world. And I know we got a lot of the rest of the world on this call right now. And it's not coming after blue collar labor jobs. It's coming after professional roles, office jobs, legal and finance, even medicine and technology. And one of the big ones is software development. When the code can write itself, doesn't really need a coder anymore. So all of these people, and there are a lot of them are young people who's been writing code for all these years, or maybe they're even in college right now, they were going to do that. Guess what? That job just became obsolete. So there is a wave of chaos coming in some ways, but within every time there's something like that, there's opportunity. And so what we're doing is we're preparing for that. We're looking at that. We're even looking at what is the age that's going to be the greatest impact. And so obviously the younger you are, the more that you got to catch up to the shift that's taking place. And the older you are, you kind of got to look and say, okay, I really need to make an adjustment for my encore years, right? And so for those of us that are maybe 50 and over, we're that encore group. But the other workforce group is saying, okay, if these jobs are not going to be available, what do I do? And what we're recommending is you go into business for yourself. You take a hold of a business vehicle, because that's a way to stabilize and secure your future and your family. And what we're going to talk about now as we pivot, and Jim, as I move through this, feel free to jump in and just, build on the conversation. But we are really a marketplace of solutions. So we're targeting health and wellness, because if you look and feel better, and you're working towards your longevity and your overall health, then guess what? You got more to contribute. You got more to produce. You got better performance. And so what you do is you then recommend peer-to-peer, just like you recommend a movie, recommend a restaurant, you recommend wellness, you recommend financial solutions to the people you know, love, and trust. And that is what helps us move from service to success to significance. That's what we want to do. And that's what our platform is built for. And there's really three ways for you to engage. You can just come in and be a consumer of product. That's fine. We're here to serve you and give you the best experience we can. Help yourself by giving your body what it needs, the support it needs. And we have, again, all kinds of product information, whether you want to read it, push play, whatever you want to do, we have all of that available to you, and we can get that to you. You may want to share your story. When people come in and tell us what experience they're having, they want to share that experience. They want to tell you, hey, I found a way to get healthier. I found a way to bridge the gap between the financial lack that I had and having some abundance. I found a way to some financial freedom. And that's the other thing. Some people come in and say, you know what? I don't want to just participate. I have a desire to build something here. I have a desire for freedom and liberty and options and choices that I currently don't have. I have, I could participate and just kind of hang around and take some products, and we have plenty of people that do that, and we welcome everybody. But there's a certain group of you that I'm talking to right now that's like, no, I want to ratchet up. I want to level up, and I want to be able to really move things along and bridge the gap from where I am to where I want to be. And that's where we start building communities. We come in here and we have a structure that allows you to build communities. I say that everybody is an influencer. It's just a matter of scale. Are you influencing 100 people? Are you influencing thousands of people? Everybody has influence. Everybody has people they know, love, and care for, and have a reason to reach out and give them the story and the information to then improve their quality of life. And our system is designed for that. Again, I'm not going into those details right now. I just want you to know, what do? We do peer-to-peer commerce by sharing with other people, building communities. And right now, as Jim said at the beginning of this, our community already stretches all around the world to tens of thousands of people, and we're just getting started. You're one of the first people to start hearing about these technologies. It's just getting out there into the marketplace. So you can make money on retail customers and bonuses and team commissions. I actually have a video that goes through all of this in detail. You get paid on everything in retail sales, enrollment of product, monthly auto ships, and. So again, we'll send you that information. And here's an idea of the kind of income you can make. A lot of people say, well, I just need to bridge a gap of a few $100s a month. Some people say I need to bridge a gap of a few $1,000s a month. And so we have something that can scale to meet you where you are and help you do whatever you need to do to bridge that gap. And so as the community grows, the income grows. So, Jim, you want to take care of that? And so, folks, you can go from just several $100s a month to several $1,000s a month. And honestly, it can go to, you can see those numbers start happening weekly. It continues to grow because, trust me, once it gets out there and once people start seeing the value and the benefit, and they have the experience, not only of the products, but of what our compensation plan does and what our system does, people start talking about it. They can't wait to share it. And so this is just a snapshot of what's potential for you. I'm not making an income claim. I'm just giving you an idea of what the scope of this looks like. And we have systems. Everything right now, Jim talked about us being a franchise-like idea. Well, why do people buy franchises? They buy because of brand, they buy because of system, they buy because of support. They'll go spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to own a job that pays them maybe $100,000 or $200,000 a year, sometimes less. Just depends on the franchise. But you'll go spend that money to have a very expensive job that you just bought for yourself. Meanwhile, we take that same concept of brand, support, system, right? Put it all into an app called the MPG Plus app. And Jim's going to talk about that more in just a minute. But then put everything at your fingertips right here at your phone. So we talk about a business in the box. That's your box. It's the phone. And it goes with you wherever you go. And you have access 24/7 to reach the markets all the way around the world. Just like Rod sitting down there in the Gold Coast of Australia. Some of you are in Singapore, some of you are in New Zealand, some of you are in the UK, and plus here in North America. And this little device and this little app can reach out and touch it all and give you the training, the marketing, the orientation, everything you need is available right in one place. And it's with you because nobody leaves without their phone, right? We build upon that as well with live training and events. We have a whole schedule all the way through 2027 where you can come to an event, you can get around the top producers, the top earners, the top trainers in our entire organization, and you can come in and be a part of that, get that full immersion experience. It's a lot like going to a boot camp, right? You come in for 2-3 days, and it's just, we're going to put you right in the deep end of the pool, and we're going to give you all the things you need, and you're going to walk away with depth of understanding. You're going to walk away with confidence. You're going to walk away with conviction, and you're going to know you're part of a movement, not just part of a business, not just selling some product. You're part of a movement that is changing lives for the better, that is lifting people's quality of life, and we're taking it all around the world. And so right now, all you really have to ask yourself is, now is the time. Is now the time for you? Is now the time to say, you know what? Maybe I am at risk because of AI. Maybe I do need to be healthier. Maybe I do need to have some options here for me and my family. So is now the time for you to take hold of something that could reach into these trends, these never befores that are all happening all at once? Is this a fit for you? That's the question. And so we want you to just think about, well, if everything we're sharing is true and we have all the data to back it up, what would this change for you? Your time, your money, your freedom. What would this start to do for you that you could then turn around and share with others? Because that's the beauty of a share economy, is that, hey, I'm seeing results. Let me share those results for you. There's other people you want, when you get your freedom, you want them to be able to hang out with you too, and they're stuck at a job. Help them get out of that. So that's what we have to offer. And we invite you to join the movement. So we exist truly to restore some harmony to the body and to your human potential. We're here to help you take back your health, take back your wealth, and take back your life. So the next step after this, and we're going to pivot into talking about the VeraCell launch here in just a second. Jim, you can come in here if you got anything else to add to it. I'm going to close the screen in just a minute. But if this has resonated with you, if this is like, okay, you are saying out loud what we kind of been feeling and thinking, then I encourage you to engage, ask questions, get a hold of the material, come on in and learn more, explore our community, meet some people, talk to us, have a conversation so that we can share with you the depth and the breadth of what's here and available to you and what it can do for you. Because that's the only thing that you're sitting here really asking is, what does this do for me? What's in it for me? And hopefully we've at least painted a scope of a picture here that's got you intrigued enough to say, okay, I want to know more. What are you guys really talking about? And what are you really up to? And with that, Jim, I'm going to stop the share and come back to you and jump on in here, buddy. Let's start talking about where we're going next.
Yeah, for sure. Excellent presentation, gang. It's really interesting as I watched Steve and I hung on every word. It was funny when you said, Jim, feel free to chime in. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Gang, I was jotting a few notes down knowing he wanted me to say something for a couple minutes before we show you a couple of cool resources. And I honestly, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, we're all here. We're watching this. But what is really going on? Like, why would Marketplace Global land this product? Why do we have these other products? Some of you are familiar with pHix or Fit or some of the international markets where we're bringing products to your market. I mean, it really comes down to this, gang. For those of you that are entrepreneurs, I want you to think about something. Is our founder, Randy, only had 5 options to sell these products, and he had 20 years of infrastructure there that he was sitting on in a post-COVID environment, because we're a post-COVID company. He could have took these products and technologies to the box stores. Not a good option. In fact, that eliminates all of us, but then the box store owns him. He could have took it to Amazon. Same exact outcome. He could have used brick and mortar, like in Maple Grove, Minnesota, put up a store. That eliminates the rest of the world. Are you tracking with me here? Then the fourth option is you could use influencers, not like we're talking here, but hired guns where they create content, they point to links and say, look at this. And then there's this model called peer-to-peer commerce, trust-based commerce, direct sales. I've heard it called a lot of things, but we are now in a world where trust is plummeting at warp speed. If you're not paying attention, I would challenge you, do your own research. Like, trust is plummeting around the world. Why? Simply put, AI. As good as it is, it also causes trust to plummet. You might say, well, why would you make such a statement? Well, I'll give you an example. 3 weeks ago, we did this big event that Steve referenced in Missouri. I'm backstage with the owner of the production crew, and we're looking at a video, and Byron and I asked him, can you today tell the difference between an AI-driven video and a real human video? He said, absolutely not. Cannot tell. He said, in fact, 70% of every video you watch, it does not matter on what platform, is built by AI. Now, that's going to shock some of you. Others of you are like, yeah, I knew that. Okay, it doesn't matter what camp you're in. Here's my point. as time goes on in the near future, and this isn't like the tsunami buoys are going off in the Pacific Ocean. The tsunami's already hit the landmass of the U.S. Now, I realize we have a lot of countries here, so just use it as a metaphor or a word picture. What I'm saying is that it's hitting so fast and so hard, and we're in the middle of not only this movement, but all of these health movements. And I watched this presentation and I'm like, oh my goodness gracious, thank you, God, right? It's like one of those moments. And the other thing I wrote down here that's, I think, pertinent to all of this, I was drinking my morning coffee last week. I had a certain news channel on and they flashed up a current statistic, because if you watch, the news media is now catching on to the job displacement. And they said currently here in the US, so you'd have to get your stats, you know, from the other countries, Rob, like Australia, but 47% of people at university here in the States are changing their major because all of a sudden they find themselves, and this is our kids and grandkids, find themselves in a major, getting an education in a job that's about to be displaced. So when you say, what does this all mean? It is what I said in the beginning of the intro, Steve. I believe it's the golden age of being an entrepreneur. If gang, you're awake, present, accounted for, and you're paying attention, because opportunities do not come up and smoke you in the forehead. They just tiptoe by, and as they tiptoe by, they whisper in your ear. And I want to talk to the person that's here as a guest. If not this, what is it then? And if your response is, I don't know, I'm going to challenge you, even though I don't know who's on here tonight. I mean, I see the names, but I don't know a lot of you. If not this, then what? And you might say, I don't know. You better figure that out. Because when the tsunami hits your family, then you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm glad I dug the second well before I need the water. So enough of that, Steve. This is your Zoom for your community. Where you want to go next, bud, as far as the screen share with a couple of tips for everybody before they leave.
Okay, so folks, most of you know, many of you on here, I see the numbers that we have on here, I see the names, that we've been on this path with VeraCell we started out with a beta group and we got about, 1,000 people on it, and we were working through that, got the stories coming in, worked out through, logistics, packaging, the things you got to do to start scaling up. And then we started holding back a little bit and saying, okay, now we're going to really start to open it up a bit more at the Momentum event we had just a few weeks ago in Missouri. And that became, the pre-launch pad, if you will. That's where you got to meet Sam Castor and you got to hear the whole story of Ace Man, which is just an incredible story of I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. It's kind of like, okay, how did all these little things happen that made a multi-billion-dollar phenomenon take place, right? And then you get to hear the story of the progression of the technology, because technology should progress if we're staying on top of things, especially this type of technology. And so we just keep advancing that. And so, Jim, where I'd like to go is tomorrow, April 17th, and I know, Rod, it's already April 17th there, buddy. I know it's Friday morning, Rod. Thank you for being here. It's April 17th, but for April 17th in the United States and Canada, we are going to be releasing VeraCell to the entire organization. And it's already on a shipment coming to Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, where it's already headed towards you guys. So we didn't forget you. It's on the way. We got to put some new labels on it when it gets there. So the package might be a little ugly, but it's good. Stick it in your mouth, like Rod, or like Dr. Dan said. Just put it in your mouth, because it's going to do the job when it gets there. Don't worry about the sticker over the label. But Jim, talk a little bit about the MPG Plus app and some of the connections, because you're in some conversations with corporate that I've not been a part of here the last couple of days. Bring us up to speed on the MPG Plus. What is that doing? And how do people really learn how to share and duplicate everything we're doing here?
Okay, so I'm going to approach this, gang, a little differently than you might think. I want to literally be a little more logical on this part and keep it pretty tight. The business in a box that Steve referenced, I literally run my business from right here. I've got an iPhone 15 Pro Max. I run my entire business. When every Thursday for now 40, we're in month 45. So at the end of the month, if I took and added up every single week, I'm not going to do the math. It's a little over 3.5 years. I've gotten a paycheck sent to what I call an e-wallet for literally 45 months. I've never missed a week on Thursday afternoon. I even log into my back office through my mobile device. I go to my e-wallet. I do the confirmations. I do my reporting. I check everything right here. Now, let me ask you a question. How important is that? We don't need answers, but just think about it to yourself. What was the first thing that popped into your head? If you're dealing with a global business, how important is it to have this? So we have this app. I'm just going to go to screen share here quick, Steve, and just do a couple of quick things. When you get the MPG Plus app, after you become a rep, let me get rid of this toggle switch. So if you and Rod do not click anything, I'm going to hide the floating controls. They'll come back if you guys click something. Okay. So when you get in here, gang, the first thing you're going to notice is that you're not even going to get to this page. You see this word onboarding? You need to know that if this is the first time you've ever owned a business, and the only thing you've ever done in your life is literally work what we call here a W-2 job, meaning you get a job, you get a paycheck. Around the world, it's a very common thing. We've all had one. Okay. But I'm saying you've never owned a business. Here's right here. Go through the 10 to 12 minutes of onboarding and don't think you have to know anything. Just kind of pay attention. Watch our founder. Just click, like I'm going to give you a sample here. Watch our founder welcome you to the community and the company. And then you just follow the prompts here. It's very, very, very simple. Now, with that said, over here in the menu, this looks a little different when you're on the app. If you're an Android user, you want to go to mpg.plus until Google Play approves the app. But if you're an iOS user, Apple user, you can just go to the App Store and you're going to use your same identical login as you do to get into your Marketplace Global website. But here's what's interesting is we have had a couple of world-class videos. I'm going to assume that if you're here, you've seen these. But I'm just going to quickly just kind of dot one I here is that people say, how do I get other people to maybe see what I see here? And we have a share tool right here. And I'm not going to do a training on this, but you can, if you're intuitive, you can extrapolate. If I click share and you see share with a contact, that tells you a couple things. One, you can share with a contact. But two, that should also tell you that within our system, and I'm going to go here over to the left if you follow my mouse to the more button, that we actually have a contact manager. So it's intuitive. You go to network would tell you then you could load contacts in. Now I'm in a demo account. You can see that you can load a CSV file. If you're in the app through your mobile device, which is what I recommend, you just click, you load your contacts. All right. Now the reason why this is important is, and I'm not going to go any further here, is there is a number of things that I do within this section to manage my business. I'll give you, for instance, it's at weekly. I have people say, how do you manage your organization when it's so big? Well, I've started within this app now to create contact groups. What I mean by that is I have one called my personals, right? So I can go here and I can make a new list. I literally text from the app. So I could literally put in there my personal reps that I've enrolled through my rep ID number. I could enter in, if you're just getting started, you're not going to understand the vernacular, but all of my people at the rank of bronze. Maybe I have a group of bronzes, maybe silvers, golds, platinums. Maybe you've got all, now it's, I could put my triple diamonds in above in there, right? So the group changes as it grows. My point is, I manage the business here and then I track, like there's no activity because this is a demo account, but every time I share this with somebody, with a contact from my network of people I know, right here, it's just your phone. It's called a network in your phone. It'll show up here in the activity report that when they click it, so it tells a story. The other thing is I want you to know you become part of a community. Now, why is this important? probably everybody on planet Earth is part of what I would call a Facebook group. It's awesome. Social media has its place. A lot of you, you're going to do a lot of what I would call lead generation through your social media, ad tag messaging, different methodologies. But what we need is a community where it's not out there in the public forum. It allows us, when people are in here, the only subject that is here is success and winning with Marketplace Global. And there's different campfires. Like I have one called Builders U, which has advanced builder tactics. And I'll show you where you get into that. We've got one called the Living Room. We happen to have a model where we've attracted a lot of pastors and they want to help people. And so there's content there, and it's just examples of what can take place. But if you look over here, you see this gems button. This is very important. People say, what is a gem? A gem is a valuable thing. Look at it like a diamond, a ruby, an emerald. A gem is just that. And the main gem right here, GFL, stands for Global Freedom League. It's one of the campfires. It's the main campfire where corporate communicates with the field. If you go to this gem and you open it up, lo and behold, there are all kinds of marketing assets in here. Now, I'm going to tie this to Dr. Dan and Steve here and start to land the plane and flip this back to Steve and Rod and Dr. Dan. It's very intuitive. It looks like a YouTube channel. If you look at this, you can even change the look if you prefer a vertical stack. I prefer the horizontal stack. It's just the way my brain works. So if you look at, again, prospecting assets, this tells you, wow, I might need a second look or a longer presentation like Steve did tonight. Now, this is where I really want to show you here. You're here tonight and you heard a lot about product and science, which is incredible. But why not get your hands, and many of you have this in your circulating, it should absolutely be part of the launch of VeraCell, where you can hear this from the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Sam, and this is our founder introducing him at our event. But in spades, he goes through the ACE, Menon history and technology, and then links it to manna relief and feeding children around the world. We also are blessed with one of the brightest minds literally in the medical field across the entire planet, a guy named Dr. Ben Bowers. And this interview was done about a month ago with this young lady. Her name is Lauren Jewell. I was actually at this photo shoot. This is a deep dive into pHix and VeraCell. This is money. Like, this is really, really good. You might want to know how you get paid, and I'm not going to go any further, but these are examples of as you build your business. Now, this is one right here, because all the time we have people like, especially those that are in the health movement, the health and wellness space, you can never get enough. It's funny because I'm not the resident expert. I'm that guy that falls into the category of being a serial entrepreneur and coach on how do you actually build a micro franchise like business. That's where I spend my time. But Dr. Ben wrote a couple of books. I actually have them right here. Okay. And for those of you that when your head hits the pillow, you say to yourself, self, you need more information because you're not satisfied yet. Don't worry. Your inviter does not need to be an expert. I am not an expert. If you say to me, what do you do with people that want to know more? I send them this asset. You see right here. You share it. It's parked in here. We maintain these. I share it. I do not tell them what I know because I don't know anything. I live in the woods in northern Wisconsin. And so then if they persist and want even more, I tell them, just go buy the dude's books. Like, go read them because they're right here. So here's where you order the books down here. If you want a Canva like this, if you want some videos from the last event, I guess what I'm trying to show you here is when Steve talks about a business in a box, that box to me is right here. This is your mobile device. And I eat, drink, sleep, and breathe right in that little space right here because I don't want to be tied to my home. I'm in my home right now. I have a home-based business. I have an incredible lifestyle because of the business model you just saw. It's completely changed our lives, but more importantly, it's changing people's lives like Rod and James and Naomi. And I saw Bob Adam in here and Peggy, to think that somebody who said yes at 74, by the time they're 77, can literally change their entire retirement portfolio because they said yes to what you saw tonight. It's crazy because some of you will, and Steve, I'm going to flip this to you just a sec. Some of you will fall on the doubting side. You'll automatically have, there's just something in certain people where they go to the scarcity mindset and they're like, yeah, I've seen that before and that's not going to work. That's hogwash. There is a movement, gang. If you're here and you haven't been paying attention, over 40% of people now go to their physician and say, I'm looking for alternative solutions to big food and big pharma. There are worldwide health movements that are unavoidable because 2020 opened Pandora's box in terms of discussion. You see the word freedom when you have 80% of people going to bed every single night worried about their finances. That's a problem. But what that creates, if you're an opportunist, is opportunity. So Steve, I got to get off my soapbox. I know I got a Facebook Live I got to go do. Is there anything else I can do for you or anybody on here before I bolt?
No, Jim, thanks for coming on. I know you got to jump to the next one and we're going to button it up here pretty quick. But again, guys, welcome to MPG, Marketplace Global, or as we like to say inside of our group, make people great, right?
Yeah.
We're here to make people great. And it's just to really support people, support their health, support their finances, and support their financial intelligence, support their health intelligence. And so, Rod, I know we've got a lot of people related here that are Australia, New Zealand. Thanks, Jim, and beyond. So I know that sometimes we get things because it's all based here in the United States. We get started here, but we want to get things to you guys as quickly as possible. Any other comments for your group and everything here that we've talked about tonight?
Well, we're super glad that that ship's on its way to New Zealand, so that's good news. Let's hope it gets there and it doesn't run out of fuel, if you know what I mean. Anyway, that little segue joke aside, we are very, very keen to get it. We don't care how ugly the packet looks. We're after what's inside that packet, and we can't wait to get that. Just wanted to say a couple of things about what Jim just mentioned there about the shift and what you said, Steve, about the pivot with AI. My son-in-law is a videographer, and also my nephew is a videographer. And I've got videos that they showed me that if anyone wants them, please get in touch with me and I'll show you just to prove, to validate the point that they are producing content right now that doesn't require people, doesn't require voices, doesn't require, they got some Australiana videos that they set back in the 1980s where mum and dad and kids are gathered around a barbecue eating hamburgers and the old cars there and all the old cars. You would swear that it is all real. I mean, you cannot tell the difference. And it was all AI. Everything's done by AI. It's just next level crazy. So almost people are going to become redundant in that industry. Another thing I might just point out too is that one of my very dear friends is in the programming space, and he's actually works for a company that is paid to hack and to find flaws in other companies and repair and put things together to stop them being hacked. He said, we can't write code faster than AI can write code. Computers write it faster. I'll be out of a job in less than 12 months. He said, I had to just lay off 50 of my employees. It went from a staff of 250 to 200. He said, I'll be downsizing that to 50, and then eventually we'll all be out of a job, including myself. So, this is a reality. And you don't have a crystal ball to figure out where this is going. And I once heard someone say that the best way to predict your future, you've got to participate. And if you're participating in your future by making a decision today and planning something today that positions you so that no matter what may happen, no matter what may come and when it may come, that you're back in the driver's seat, you're back in control. And what we know is this peer-to-peer marketing is what puts us back in control. I've got a feeling the screen has frozen up, but if you're still there, you can still hear me. You look frozen, yep. Steve. I'm sorry I've shocked you so much. You're frozen. No. But, here's
we can hear you.
You have an opportunity with MBG. Okay. So there's an opportunity with MPG for you to participate in your future. And I've said this from day one, that your future self will thank you for making the right decision today. And the best time to start is now. It's like Steve said, you've seen some content Get some more information if you need to, by all means. Dig deep, by all means. Do your due diligence, by all means. But at some point, your future won't change unless you do something about it. And more than likely, the future is going to get a little bit more scary, a little bit more uncertain, because, you know, a lot of the power that we once had is now gone. It's in the hands of other people, and it's in the hands of things that we can't control. So what we need to do is we need to control the things we can control. And while I can't control where AI is heading, I can control how I use it. As Jim said, we can become mobilepreneurs. And if you can capture the moment, you can go, well, I'll take the technology that smart people and AI have built for us around products that our founders, Randy and Kathy Tynet, have provided for us, around a model of distribution through peer-to-peer marketing where I can work from home and I can work from anywhere. And I can have this perfect marriage between company, product, technology, science, a product that works in a world that needs it, in a way, and deliver it in a way that everybody can, down to the least common denominator. I'm working with an app right now to help homeless people in our city that'll probably be adopted by the state and federal government. It's crazy. I'm meeting with the mayor on Monday morning at 9 a.m. to discuss it. But, you know, 99% of homeless people have a mobile phone device. And that just tells you something, because that's how they communicate. Virtually everybody in the Western world has one of these things. So, you know, there's no excuse. We have the tools, we have the system, we have the products, we have the plan, we have the way and the means. The only thing that it requires is activity on our behalf. How big a piece of the pie you get is determined by how much you're prepared to cut off. If you just want a little bit, go for it. But if you want to have a whole bunch of the pie, you want the whole pie. And the other thing that we need to consider, and I'll say this in closing, is, you know, we're marketplace global for a reason. It's global because we can do this. We can have all sorts of countries on simultaneously. We don't have to jump on airplanes and go places, although that's good and we still do that. We can do these as often as we want at any time that we want. And then when we're not able to do this, we have access to the tools through MPG Plus, where we can forward that and send it to somebody and then track when they get it and when they watch it. And then you can then follow up with them. So you're working your business real time. You could be sitting here like a newsreader. Who knows? You don't know. I might be sitting here, you know, in a pair of shorts. I might be sitting here, you know, when you think about what I might be sitting in. I don't have to be wearing a suit. I don't have to be at the office. I don't have to be at a desk. I've done Zooms. I saw James Hannon did one the other day from his car. You know, it was really cool. And so, you know, wherever you are, business is there. So we just need to jump on, get involved, and get at it, folks. And the world is literally opening up to us now. We know that there's some great things coming for Singapore. We know that there's some great things coming for the Asia Pacific region. We know there are great things coming for United Kingdom and Europe. We know that Canada have just woken up big time with VeraCell, where before they were in the dark on this, but they're getting switched on tomorrow. And this is crazy for all our Canadian friends and US friends. We're not far away down under with Fit as well, coming this way. And so, you know, the world is opening up fast. We've got a relaunch of South Africa. We've got a relaunch of the Philippines. We're in Thailand now. This is just going to keep kicking out and expanding into more and more countries. And the sooner you're in, the better. The more you get active, the better. The more you get positioned and trained, the better. The more you learn, even though it may be frustrating to learn a new thing, even though it may be that you may have brain freeze thinking I've got to get in, I've got to learn MPG Plus. You may have brain freeze. That's okay. Let us thaw you out. It's not that hard. There are actually tutorial videos in there that'll help unfreeze your brain. It's not as daunting as it looks or it sounds. It's really, really simple if you will just apply the effort. And if you want more Zooms, we can do more Zooms to explain it. And you can contact your upline leader who can help you explain it. Hopefully they understand it and have taken the time to. So with all of that said, as we say, if it's going to be, it's up to me. And if it's going to happen, it's got to be a choice that each and every one of you make. And you are poised and positioned, I believe, at the right time with the right people, with the right tools, with the right products. And the world is only ever going to make our opportunity greater and bigger. And so, you know, it's all in front of us, Steve. And I love what you've got behind your freedom. That's one of the things that we learned during COVID. We had our freedoms removed. We had our choices taken away. We were told what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And people are fed up in the post-COVID world We want our freedom back. We want to be back driving the car and not sitting wherever someone else is taking us. And this is the industry to do it. So bless you, my friend. Thanks for taking the time for putting together an absolutely phenomenal deck of slides there in the PowerPoint. You presented brilliantly as always. And again, a big kudos to Steve. We wouldn't have VeraCell if it wasn't for his efforts over the last 2 to 3 years working with Sam Caster to bring this to us. So all credit to you, my friend. You're an incredible leader and an inspiration to all of us. And, you know, where you lead, we will follow.
Well, thank you, Rod. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I don't have anything to add. We're going to let you go. Watch for Fun Fact Friday because there's a lot of information. Go into the GFL. Tom's already posted on there about what to expect as we roll out VeraCell, and you're going to hear a lot more on that on Friday and Fun Fact Friday, and then we're going to have another event on Saturday. All of that information's in GFL, so get in there, see it, share it, and get more people to come to the party, come be part of the movement. Rod, talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody.
Live long and prosper.
Recording stopped.